Welcome in to the Market Madness podcast. This is our third episode for the podcast. I'm so excited to have Dividend Hero here at Hero Dividend on Twitter. Very excited to have you. We're going to be talking about one of your personal holding stocks today, something that you feel comfortable talking about. So welcome into the studio.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Great to have you here. So first off, let's talk about the bracket itself. What is going to be your champion in this bracket? What's the stock we're going to be talking about today and the one that you think can win it all?
Well, the stock we're going to be talking about today is Waste Management. I don't know if I'm publicly going to go out on a limb and say it can win it all, but it certainly is going to hold a pretty high weighting in my bracket.
Sweet. Awesome. So Drew, let me turn it over to you for a couple questions.
Yeah. So we all know Waste Management. It seems like, is that your favorite ticker in this bracket, or are there any others that, also stand out?
I mean, Waste Management's been my favorite lately with the just rotation into value, little sell-off we had. Everyone was panicking. All their favorite stocks were down 20%, and Waste Management was just kind of cruising. Like, yeah, what sell-off, So I think people are kind of coming around to the idea of everybody's got to take out the trash. So, I mean, I'm pretty big on Waste Management. I think as a long-term investment, it's pretty great. There's a few other stocks in there I like. I mean, Etsy, everyone's favorite ARK ETFs. But as a holding of mine, Waste Management definitely is the top.
Okay. Are there any other stocks, you have this awesome perspective of being very value-based, that are undervalued, maybe as a stock or just, in general in this bracket?
All right. I mean, crazy as it sounds, DraftKings and Penn on a undervalued basis in terms of once sports betting is it's not even accepted in all 50 states. Like, and we all know where it's headed. So just on that metric, maybe not traditional valuation, but at least future growth prospects. DraftKings and Penn, I don't know if the market can fully value them without the whole, every 50 states being able to legally sports bet. So, those two come to mind, and those are two pretty popular names. So I'm super intrigued. Those two are head to head. I don't know. Maybe we could get a Portnoy retweet. That'd be pretty cool. So we'll see who comes out on top.
That would be pretty awesome. All right, flipping back to Waste Management here. What is the DNA? What is the fundamentals of Waste Management? We all know, management company that takes out waste. No, they do some trash pickup. Is there anything else that sticks out to you about this company?
Yeah, man. I think one big thing that people don't think about is like the landfills. So, they own landfills. It's basically essentially real estate. And they own that. And like, there's no competition. They've got that space. They've got those landfills for years and years and years. And that's just kind of locked up. So that's another thing I love to keep in mind of, besides the trash trucks that come every week, COVID, recession, or whatever, that trash truck is coming. They also have landfills. And then I can also see it as being a green play with the new administration in office, more focused on clean energy and recycling and things like that. Waste management is integral to all that. So, you got a lot of things going for it, besides just normal people taking out the trash.
Definitely. So that's awesome. You touched on that. Gav, do you want to touch on the sentiment here? Any questions we got for that?
Yeah. So as we all know, this bracket is determined based off of Twitter polls, right? And people going ahead and voting for those polls. So there has to be an aspect of sentiment, right? I like this stock. I want to get behind it. What have you seen from a sentiment perspective surrounding WM that makes you think people might go ahead and give this their vote? It might be a popular stock. Have you seen other accounts talking about it perhaps on social media?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of all reliable. I mean, it's not sexy, but it pays. So we're not dealing with the hottest name that might always is. No, it's not always talked about. There's not a lot of people that are going to brag about owning Waste Management. Nobody's like, oh, Waste Management. Like, yes, but it is all reliable. I think this is hitting at the perfect time for Waste Management. We're pretty close to all-time highs with the rotation back into value. It's just been a great stock to own in my portfolio lately. And as everything opens back up, I think it's going to be a name to own the next year or two. I mean, so just touching on the sentiment basis, just people coming to realize that you need to invest in the things that you own and that you use. And I mean, if Waste Management's coming to pick up your trash, like there is no reason to not own stock in them. Like, I mean, just own what you use. And it's one of the few products in this bracket that I can guarantee you just about everybody uses.
So speaking of products that everybody's using in the bracket, let's talk about the first round matchup real quick for Waste Management. Waste Management is going up against TAP, that's Molson
Right.
Coors. They have Miller, Coors, and a couple other brewing companies under their belt. What do you see factoring into that matchup?
Yeah, well, I'm glad we're hitting that matchup outside of football season. So we got that go. I got that going for me. I'm sure alcohol sales have been higher during the pandemic, naturally, or at least in 2020. I need to do a little bit more research into them. Where I live, everyone's pretty big in like craft beer and breweries and stuff like that. So I don't know what kind of reach they have into that space, but I mean, product everybody uses just about. So that is another factor to keep in mind of, I mean, a lot of people drink beer. So we shall see.
It's definitely interesting. And then just to kind of finish off with talking about the matchups, this area, right? So Waste Management is falling underneath our more value-oriented section. So if it was to win that first matchup versus TAP, it would then go against either J&J or Facebook. Which one would you prefer to have it go against, and why?
Oh, man. Both names seem to be in the news a lot. J&J, big vaccine news, always. Facebook, in the news, usually not positive. But I know there are quite a few guys on Twitter that are huge on Facebook, huge on their future growth potential. They've got a lot of stuff going for them between the virtual reality and the marketplace and just their user base and growth. I mean, they've got a ton going for them. And their stock, I mean, honestly might even be value oriented. I mean, they have not been a top performer lately, but the future is bright for them. I don't know. I mean, I feel like J&J against Waste Management feels pretty classic too. Just solid dividend stocks. I mean, J&J is not going to blow you away. But with them coming up with a vaccine, I mean, that could be a popular name. But not everyone's going to get the vaccine. So that might not be a product everyone uses. So we will, I think I would have to go with J&J. But definitely a heavyweight matchup there.
It really is. And just to wrap this up, my final question is, what is going to be your strategy when you're filling out your bracket? How are you thinking about this?
Yeah, I mean, first things first, I'm just taking QQQJ straight to the finals. My guy Colin can, what can I say? QQQJ to the moon. But I think my strategy mostly is just going to be looking at the stocks and thinking about who their founder is and what kind of, I think with like Penn and DraftKings, like off the top of my head, I honestly cannot tell you who the CEO of DraftKings is. Maybe I'm just blanking, but I can tell you Penn, Dave Portnoy. Oh, he's not the CEO, but you know what I mean? There's a big stake there. There's just a bunch of names where they always seem to be in the news. Their founder is charismatic or is making headlines. I mean, that's kind of what drives social sentiment. So I don't, you know,
Yeah.
I think that's one of my strategies. And then the other is, of course, the dark horse play. Maybe a Waste Management makes it kind of far. Everybody loves an underdog story. Everybody loves a Cinderella story. So seeing just a random name kind of catch a little bit of fire, and maybe the stock market doesn't love them, but maybe they can get a little bit of love in this game, and that can kind of carry them. But again, you never know. I'm not saying a 16 seed is going to make it all the way, but crazier things have happened. So I might have to be picking a few underdogs here. Just seeing if we can get a few underdog feel good stories to take us far into the competition.
Definitely. And of course, people can always fill out multiple brackets, so they can do a couple of different strategies there. Drew, anything you want to add in?
I think that is all for me. Thank you so much for coming out.
Losing the voice.
I'll let God finish this out. I'll let God finish
Drew's doing too many podcasts, but yeah, thank you so much for coming on. We're really excited for everybody that is watching. Market Madness is launching on Monday. There's going to be a lot coming out this weekend. More podcasts. We got customized graphics. I have a custom WM graphic for you that I'll be heading over to you for Market Madness. So it's looking very, very fine. I think that wraps it up for today. Thank you so much for taking the time. Middle of a Thursday, but you took it for us, and hopefully that proves very fruitful for WM.
Sweet. Yeah, looking forward to it. Can't wait to promote everything you guys are putting out. Hope we get a lot of people on board. And it's going to be a lot of fun.